Hello viewers, it is your favorite spoiler from the recap room. For more updates, stay tuned and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you. The first episode of Task began with the cat and mouse game between Robbie, played by Tom Pelphrey, and Tom, played by Mark Ruffalo. These two characters, single fathers who have experienced great grief but have chosen quite different paths, were mostly introduced in this first episode of the series. The conclusion of Task Episode 1 then establishes their ongoing, cops and robbers, dynamic. Maeve, his adult niece, lives in the house of her late father with Robbie, a garbage man with 2 children. Robbie and his friend Cliff started a string of home invasions, focusing on drug houses, in order to make ends meet. The FBI takes notice of this and establishes a task force under the direction of Ruffalo's Tom. Tom was called back to command the team that was tasked with capturing these drug house criminals, even though he had been having a break from field work at the beginning of Task Episode 1. 3 comparatively inexperienced agents, Lizzie, Aleah, and Anthony, join him. Tom and his group in Task had nothing to work with because Robbie and Cliff had a rather effective system in place. But by the conclusion of Episode 1, this had altered. After their friend Peaches was shot and died, the group's situation rapidly deteriorated. Unaware that a youngster was sleeping in the basement, Robbie and Cliff felt compelled to murder the house's occupants. Robbie brought the youngster from the drug house home with him, as the conclusion of Task Episode 1 discloses. Naturally, this was a very dangerous move, but Robbie had no other options. After Robbie and Cliff took off their masks, the child emerged from the basement, allowing him to see their faces and, as a result, assist the authorities in identifying them. Robbie would have murdered the youngster if he had been more vicious. Task Episode 1 demonstrates that Robbie is not a cold-blooded crook. He is a devoted father, and while he is prepared to kill drug dealers if necessary, killing children is a different matter. Robbie carries the sleeping boy into Maeve's home in the closing minutes of this inaugural episode. Robbie could only defend himself by taking him, but doing so would ultimately be his undoing. Tom and his task group will undoubtedly intensify their probe now that a child has been involved. Since this is an abduction case, everyone in the community will be watching for the small boy that Robbie is holding. Furthermore, Robbie and Cliff can now be located using Peach's body as a lead. Robbie's weakness will probably be his downfall. Task revolves around Tom and Robbie playing cat and mouse, but the first episode makes it apparent that what makes this series special are the parallels between these two characters. The robber and the cop have both experienced tragedy. In Tom's case, this centers on his son's unfortunate participation and the loss of his wife. There are several hints as to what transpired with Tom's family, even though it is never addressed directly. Tom can be seen reviewing court records that describe the crime while meeting with the family's attorney. Tom's son is incarcerated for sentencing for third-degree murder. It appears that before throwing his mother down the stairs, Tom's kid had a mental breakdown and stopped taking his meds. This character has been severely impacted by the tragic fact that Tom's own son killed his wife. He was formerly a priest, as we can see, but his faith was destroyed. Tom has a drinking problem and won't go see his son in prison. All in all, it could be a little challenging to concentrate on the Task's investigation. In Task, Robbie's predicament is still unclear. We know that he moved in with his brother, Billy, and his daughter after his wife abruptly left. But Billy passed away suddenly. We don't know exactly how this happened, but Robbie's criminal experience suggests a possible connection. We only know that Robbie's family was greatly affected by Billy's passing. Robbie's household is quite stressful, as we witnessed in Task Episode 1. Despite her youth, Maeve has devoted her leisure time to taking care of Robbie's kids. She dislikes the duty that has been put on her, even though she loves her cousins. This resentment will only grow with another child. This child will only confirm Maeve's suspicions that Robbie has been up to no good. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for more updates.